Hello, Comp 2. This will be our last video as we wrap up Comp 2 in spring 2020. Thank you so much for your flexibility and persistence and working to cross this finish line next week. I know it's been tough for a lot of different reasons in the last few weeks, but again, I can't stress enough that I'm thankful for your persistence and that we can finish successfully together. So first, I'm going to do a quick screen share and point you on Moodle, kind of walk through the things that are coming up. I want to make this a concise video. I don't want to go on too long, so you can just hear some useful things and then get to work. So here we are in our Moodle page. So we're in the midst of this week. We just today, on May 6th, had our class discussions over these poems. So, we kind of talk about the themes and the topics of the texts on your text list. Today we talked a lot about war poetry, looking at poems from World War II and World War I, and the Vietnam era. So we talked a lot about how history informs texts. Ozymandias, the New Colossus, and Home, we had discussions about societies and empires and kind of what leadership looks like and what leadership and how societies have been run and the downfall of empires, etc. If you're a Breaking Bad fan, I went on a bit of a tangent about Breaking Bad and Ozymandias. So so those kind of deal with very specifically in modern times, immigration, refugees, and historically the role of kind of empire and falls of empires throughout history. Good Bones, Let America Be America Again. These are both poems. We have interesting discussions about how sometimes readers read them as quite negative and pessimistic. And I challenge you to think instead about those poems as trying to find great beauty and great hope in building something beautiful out of something that perhaps isn't beautiful all of the time. So try to look at those poems through that lens. And then I Hear America Singing by Walt Whitman, this just beautiful poem from 1860, again reflecting on the idea of who and what America is. And certainly this poem suggests that it's the workers, the everyday people, that is whose songs come together to make America. So lots of different topics. We covered a lot of ground in our discussions, and thank you for those of you who could make it to those. And I just give a quick wrap up, again, just in case you're interested in those topics and you haven't settled on a final essay topic, you might want to revisit some of these that fit naturally together with one another, or might fit naturally with something else we've read earlier in the semester. Thinking about, Ozymandias and the New Colossus just fit perfectly together, but think about, Ozymandias and Othello, or Facing It and the things they carried. You can just really be creative with your final essay. And these reading resources were videos and texts of poems. And then I just went ahead and moved these final assignments, the words in PDF files. I moved those down here for this week. I didn't change anything. I just moved them so they were right in front of you in this week. Remember that some of these are just duplicates, a Word file or a PDF, depending on what works best for your computer. And then next week is really just a 3-day week. So you're finished with your readings now. So you are at the point, and I'm going to just point my cursor here. You're at the point where probably fairly soon, you could turn in your journal assignment, which remember will include those extra entries, maybe just 8 entries. If you couldn't come to Zoom meetings, you'll add extras per week, but you will just add on those reflections at the end of your journal. And you can choose any of the readings from post-spring break. So basically Othello on, You can choose any 8 readings from our text list to reflect upon for that extra journal assignment. And again, try to hit an average of 2 per week that you couldn't make it to the Zoom meeting. So you should be able to wrap that up pretty soon. You should be able to wrap up your found poem pretty soon. Again, be creative with that. That's meant to be a creative and fulfilling exercise. So the assignments for these are up here. And when you're finished with them, you can go ahead and turn them in. These links are open as of now. You can turn in those assignments. Now, your comparative analysis essay. So here again, we've gone over this. We've gone over the assignment, so I won't open it up. But you have the assignment itself, which is 2 pages. It has the prompts, and then it also has some helpful checklists. And then I've also given you 2 handouts about writing comparative analysis and integrating quotations properly. So please utilize those. This, I don't want you to rush to turn in. I want you to take your time. This is what is considered your final exam. So you have until Wednesday, May 13th at 3 p.m. to turn this in. So even if you want to go ahead and finish a first draft, if you finish it early, please email it to me, set up a phone conversation with me, and we can go over your draft together, and then you can improve it and turn in a final draft. You don't want to rush this and just turn it in without reflection. You want to give yourself a process. So please remember to put your time and creative energy into that final essay. But eventually you will also turn that in here as well. So here, again, these 3 links, you will turn in your final assignments. The journal, the found poem, you can turn those in soon, whenever you're ready. And then the final essay, you'll turn in, everything will be due before May 13th at 3 p.m. So your reading assignments are finished, but typically how I wrap up the semester in Comp 2 is that during our final time, we come together, you turn in your final assignments. We normally have snacks, so have a snack while you watch this. And then together we watch Mad Max Fury Road. So here in this place in Moodle, here's the link to the film. When you click on this, it's the same place that Othello was. So it'll prompt you to log in to the library website using your student ID. And then you can pick Mad Max out of the lineup of films. I've also included a handout about the film that I put together. Major themes to look for, symbols, imagery, thinking about critical analysis of the specific film. And then this is a general Intro to Film Studies handout. So if you're interested in analyzing film, I encourage you to check this out. And then looking at the Mad Max Fury Road handout, the goal here is that you watch a really cool movie with chase scenes, awesome scenes that if you do some research about the film, a lot of the stunts people actually did themselves. There's not a lot of CGI. So you can be really entertained by this big Hollywood blockbuster that has car chases and fight scenes and all kinds of interesting characters and cool contraptions and souped up vehicles. And you can critically analyze. You can look for the symbolism. You can pull meaning out of it beyond just entertainment. And so the reason I like to end Comp 2 with this specific activity is so you keep in mind that literary analysis and some of the things that we've been practicing this semester aren't just for the classroom. They're also for when you go watch a movie, when you watch a TV show, when you're reading for pleasure, that you keep engaged and looking for things beyond the surface, looking for the how and why to analyze and give meaning to the text in front of you. So check that out. I think it's exactly 2 hours long. And our meeting next Wednesday, and here's the link to our Zoom classes on May 13th. We'll gather together, touch base, just kind of say hello, wrap things up, check in with each other, let me know how your semester wound up, and we'll have some time to talk about Mad Max as well through the lens of critical analysis. So everything's there. Everything's up on Moodle. Keep in mind the prior weeks of Moodle, the top of the class, the very bottom of the class is our handbook. There's so much information and so many resources on that page. I just can't stress enough to please utilize that information. And if you have any question, no matter how small, reach out, let me know. We can do this. And I hope that you have an okay week, that you work hard, that you are prioritizing your time and making to-do lists, because you want, on May 15th, when this is all said and done, you want to feel good about what you've accomplished. The goal is that we don't feel like we've been hit by a truck at the end of the semester. You want to feel like you've done what you can, you've turned in your work, and that you can take a deep breath and really congratulate yourself for finishing a semester like no other. So let me know if you need anything, and take good care of yourselves.